All right. Now we are live. Sorry for that. A little bit of technical hiccup this morning, but I'm super happy to be here for the first customer presentation of the day. With me, I have Mikael and Christina from Arla. And take it away.
Thank you very much, Marcus. So yes, we're from Arla. Right now, we are in Aarhus in Denmark presenting, and we've really looked forward to be here today. This is our first time also at the TECHNIA event here, so it's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, today we would actually like to share some of our learnings, but let's have an introduction first. So Christina, if you could go first.
Yeah. Hi everyone, so my name is Christina. I've been working with Arla for approximately 6.5 years. I started my career in the global product management department, but 6 months ago I changed into a senior innovation project manager role, which is also why I'm part of the team today. Yeah, super excited to be here.
Yeah, and I'm Mikael. I've been in Arla for 5 years, working with product management, process optimization and facilitation, and now in the last 2 years as product owner in one of our agile development teams. So it's a pleasure to be here. So for you, I would also like to say in the audience that we're here to share. We hope that you will have some questions after the session. There will be time for that. And we're also very willing, if you want some deeper knowledge sharing afterwards, then you can contact us. Let's just look at the agenda. So first, we will do an overall introduction about Arla and PLM in Arla. We will look at our case and the timeline and which learnings we've had, and then we'll go to some questions.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to give you a short introduction to Arla as a company. So Arla is a dairy cooperative. We are owned by 9,700 farmers. Which actually makes us the 4th largest dairy company in the world, taking in around 13.7 billion kilos of milk every year. All this milk is actually transformed into products by our wonderful colleagues, and we have 19,000 of them placed all around the world, from Denmark to UK to Nigeria and Bangladesh. So we're really placed all over the world. All these different markets, they also have their own local brands, but we also have some global brands that goes across, and that's, as you can see here on the screen, our Arla brand, our Puck brand, Castello, and our Lurpak brand. Last year, in 2019, we generated all this milk and products into a 10.5 billion euro revenue for our farmers. So a good year for us last year. But Mikael, maybe you want to take us through the PLM journey.
Yeah, because you say, why are we here today? Well, that's to talk about PLM. And basically, this is a journey we initiated a few years ago. And overall, what we want with PLM is to manage threats and create some opportunities. We were in a position for a few years ago where we had, I think, more than 80 legacy systems, different systems handling products. And we were not in control of which system was the right one to trust. We also had some challenges with, we say, costly duplications and lack of traceability. You say the world and the trends in general are pointing towards more digitalization, e-commerce, and so on. And that was also quite difficult for us. Faster innovation was difficult because with so many systems, we also have many processes. So we need to do a transformation here. So a big turnaround in that sense. And we are in the middle of the implementation. And let me just share some facts with you. So we launched PLM Arla back in 2017. Today we call the 3D experience system for 3DX. That's easier for us at least. We are today 50 colleagues working on PLM. We have been more, but 50 colleagues. We have, all in all, well, we have collected and cleaned and validated more than 1 million pieces of data, and we just continue that. Right now, we have rolled out to 26 sites, 8 more are to follow this year, And next year, we will continue the journey on rolling out so that we will end up in 2022 on more than 50 sites. And that is within different categories like milk, butter, powder, and so on. And you can see we have done some releases, so we have some experience there as well. And we have a lot of users. So we're really happy for all of those. But enough about Arla and the introduction. Let's look at the case, how user experience focus and TVC is used for business and user acceptance of 3DX as a platform. The case that we're presenting here today is about what we've done in order to start working on some improvements to the project management functionality in 3DX. Sometimes, well, we're really happy with 3DX as an overall platform. But in some areas, we also know and feel and get the feedback from users that we simply need to do something about user experience. We need to make it more simple, more intuitive, and more modern. And there, TVC is one of the ways that we, during time, have learned as a technology that can enable us for that. But not alone. We also need to have that as a focus in the way that we develop in the development team. We need to have a user focus. And we'll share a little bit about that. Yeah. So before just going directly to the case, let's hear a little bit about the background and the need for having that project management functionality improved, Christina.
Yeah. So just to give you a bit of an understanding of why we actually selected this approach, I need to bring you back into the context on where we are today in Arla. So right now we have around 500 plus projects in our innovation pipeline right now that are waiting to be executed. All these products and projects are currently sold in 150 markets around the world. So we have a lot of markets actually benefiting from our innovation projects, but also markets that have to execute all this. A project manager role is not something that is very well established as a role in itself in Arla. We have very few actual project managers. So a lot of different functions in Arla actually take up the role as a, you could say, a side function to their actual job. So people come with a lot of different backgrounds. They come with a lot of different set of skills in terms of both IT and knowledge around the way to drive project management. And we need to be able to cater to all these people. Both project managers and project participants are, I would say, spending between 20 and 30% of their time working on projects, and they work in different ways, and they come with different backgrounds, as mentioned earlier. So we have both people in the dairies, in the production sites, participating in projects, but we also have brand managers and packaging optimization engineers and so forth. So a lot of different roles involved in projects and leading projects. Thank you. So the ambition that we have with this new project management tool that we're working on is to have one tool for everything. So the current challenges that we have right now is that we have a lot of different tools, actually, both for documentation and collaboration. Let me just take you through them. So today we use Excel for our business cases, and they are uploaded in OneDrive. And then we have our target briefs and launch recommendation, a lot of our process documentation that is managed in Word and in PowerPoint, and they are uploaded on a different drive. And then we use Power BI for our reporting. In terms of collaboration, we often use Teams, SharePoint, using Microsoft projects MS projects and Excel to actually manage our Gantt chart timelines. But it's actually up to the project manager who's managing the project on how they actually want to collaborate with the other team members. And all this actually gives us some lack of transparency. It's very inefficient. The process is slow. There's a high workload for the project manager because you need to update documents in different places. Then you need to remember, oh, where did I actually manage to store the latest version and so forth. And the biggest challenge is that you actually have a lot of knowledge linked to the individual. So if the individual change position or leave Arla, then you kind of stuck there. And that actually leaves us over to the ambition that we have, where we would really like a fast innovation project and process and fast implementation. We want one tool for documentation and one tool for collaboration, and they should be, of course, combined. So having a place where we store our documents, where we create our business case, where we create our timelines, where we collaborate with the other team members within the tool. So we want to have this one tool for all instead of having a scattered picture. And that's where TVC and 3DX comes into play and can help us creating this, what we have decided to call Innovation Hub. It should give us a faster implementation, more knowledge sharing, and also increased ownership across the organization. So not everything is actually linked to the project manager. Yeah, so that was a bit of background. And Mikael, maybe take us back to the case.
Yeah. So with that in mind, it actually quite fit well with the way that I like to work. I like to work agile, and what Christina here told us about it is actually about empowering the team and empowering the project participants. So and then having tools for it, and also, as Christina said, there is a quite mature innovation process in Arla, but it's not enabled in a technical matter that is efficient. So what we did was back when Christina and her team came with the need for having a project tool. Well, first we of course investigated what tools could we find in the world that could be interesting, but we also had an idea about 3DX being the right place, because we would really like to link the products with the execution and innovation and product execution, and to bring it into the whole product life cycle. So our assumption was also based on our early experience with TVC from other places, document management, change management. We could see that it could actually be used for project management as well, fulfilling the requirements from Christina, but we didn't know. We had an assumption, we needed to test it. So we did a proof of concept. And let me just share the timeline. First, we did the alignment back in February. We started and we aligned on having a hackathon in March. That hackathon was a week hackathon, and we got a lot of learnings. We learned some of the main concerns. We learned that there was an issue still with usability where we would like to improve a bit before we would just get a go. So we actually got a no-go. But we also got if you can address these issues and you can give the confidence in the solution, then we will actually give you a go. So in April, we validated these pain points. We also did some extra to say onboard a new team member, which I will come back to address them. And the result was we got a go in May. And that brings us to today. We are developing the solution. We initiated the implementation in June. And we're still developing on it right now, but we are also testing, and we're really getting a lot of great positive feedback from our user testing. So what we learned and what we can say about the timeline. So of course you could say it could have been faster. We could have done more, but I would rather say, well, we actually failed fast with the hackathon. We learned a lot, and as you could say also as an internal Arla employee, I would say, well, it was not just me and the development team learning a lot, but it was actually also where I had a possibility to share some learnings together with the marketing excellence team. They learned something about their requirements, and which was just as important. And then we could actually repeat and do a better proof of concept in the second round. So it was really strong. And again, that was just our ways of working. But of course, with TVC as enabler and with us, also, you could say, becoming a better team, learning as a team the whole way through. So that actually gives us the question, well, how did we work as a team? And I would just say, well, more or less, we actually utilized our existing ways of working with agile. And of course, we also had a high focus on user experience. Today we have we work with program increments, we work with 3-week sprints. We do retrospectives. And then we, of course, have a team that is quite good. And I think what we did also was to make that team stronger, because you can see the different roles on the right-hand side here, but we strengthened the team. We onboarded Christina and another colleague from Marketing Excellence team to become the business experts. I have a strong team already, but this would strengthen it even more. We also onboarded temporary TECHNIA consultant with even more technical skills or knowledge, and also just to give momentum to our proof of concept. And in our second proof of concept, we onboarded a UX consultant who had a better framework for doing user acceptance testing and securing the confidence we needed so much. In the second proof of concept. So a lot of learnings there. So back to the question, how do we then secure that we have that focus on user experience in the team, in the development team? Well, I think first of all, I need to prioritize it as a product owner. I need to secure that we have the user stories, that they are being worked on, and they have a relatively high priority in our backlog. We also, as I said before, improved our ways of working with user acceptance testing. And I think that was very much driven by our user experience consultant. It was not about just having this color or something, but it was in our way of testing and getting feedback from users and how users were supported on their user journeys. Yeah. So that actually brings us to what we have learned and succeeded with. Mm-hmm. And Christina, if you could start.
Yeah, sure. So I think the assumption that we had early on was actually confirmed. TVC can be used in this case and as a project management tool within Arla. To be honest, looking at the pure 3DX from a user perspective and not a very IT savvy person, it's very technical looking and very difficult for our users to grasp. So TVC really helps us build that modern user interface and focus on the user that we can actually add as a layer on top of 3DX, and it gives a better user experience. So having that user focus constantly, TVC can help us deliver that. I'm confident.
So it was actually both easier to approve. Yes, that we wanted to do this, and it seems like a better user interface. Then we also learned a lot about failing fast, learning fast, adapting to the changes, and it has a big value. We save time, we save money, and we learn also as Arla on our own requirements. So that's really strong as well. Then, as I also said, we onboarded some team members, and that is crucial. Of course, having the right team and roles that matters. It seems like intuitive, and it probably is, but when you're in the situation, then it's actually still key to remember and to secure that.
Yeah. And then, of course, from a business perspective, it's very important to remember that when we do this proof of concept, it is a rough draft. Of course, you can't do a lot of development in a very limited time, but we actually managed to do a lot and actually gave us a good idea about what we can actually achieve with this system, constantly having our end users in mind with all these different backgrounds. So the focus on flexibility, usability, and intuitiveness really was key here and was addressed in the proof of concept.
Yeah. So with that was actually the end of our presentation. Thank you for listening. We can say today we are developing the solution a bit more, but I think in respect for time, we would actually move on to questions. So any questions?
Thank you very much, guys. Super interesting. Of course, there's questions. We have a limited time. One interesting question, this focus on UI, is it something that you learned during the journey with 3D Experience? Or did you have UI consultants from the start?
I think we didn't know. We actually didn't have a UI consultant in the first proof of concept. Oh. And that actually gave some discussions. Also, if we take sometimes the discussions were a bit too technical. I was looking at Christina in the first proof of concept, and she didn't understand what was said. She needed some translation sometimes, and she also needed that confidence that the UX consultant could do. I think that what we also did, when we got onboarded the UX consultant, we actually did improve our ways of testing even more.
Okay.
Great. Yes.
Another question that came up is, when you have this many sites that you're going to roll this out to, how do you incorporate feedback from the different sites? Do you have a system of?
So we have a whole BCM team rolling out to the sites.
Okay.
Doing the rollout, and we have a rollout plan. So you say the way that we do it is that we have a rollout plan and we roll out the functionality, you say, to not migrated sites already, but we also constantly look back and see, well, do we need to share the new possibilities with the already migrated sites? And that process is run together with our business change management team, and we also have a data migration team doing a big effort there.
Great. I really like this this thing you said, that where you believe that you could do this in 3D experience because you like the idea of connecting the product information with the execution. Do you see that there are other areas which you might also incorporate in 3D experience to connect, product and execution after this project?
I think that there might be other. So you say this was about the project management functionality.
Yeah.
We already utilized the TVC functionality for enhancing the document management functionality. We've also utilized it for some dashboarding functionality, and there might be more. Yes, for sure. So we've learned a lot. We're not saying that this is it's super easy with everything when it comes to TVC, because that's also under development. But we have a really good dialogue, and we see it as more flexible than changing 3D experience, at least.
Great. I think we have to wrap up and let the next speaker on. Thank you very much for your contribution, Mikael and Christina. I'm sure there will be much more questions and people that want to follow up with you. I will facilitate and we will facilitate. So thank you very much.
Thank
On
you.
to the next presentation, which will be Light My Way by Anders Axelsson.
Thank
Phil, you can close down.